morning. Who is happy to be here on this? I believe it is the first Sunday in Advent. Who's got your Advent calendars already? Good job, Steve. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Buffalo. All you people who come here every Sunday, you Sunday stalwarts, and all of you who are checking us out for the first time, and all of you guys on YouTube. Hey, good morning out there. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Buffalo, and let's remind ourselves that the land upon our church stands rests upon the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, the original nations of this land, who continue to journey for justice. My name is Julie Taylor, and I'm a worship associate today. The real show today is, of course, Cathy Harrington, our interim minister and reverend, and she will be doing the service today. I want to do a few announcements, just blow through a couple of announcements so that we can get to the really cool stuff called Advent. And a few announcements are the first one from the Women's Society. Did you know that each month the Women's Society does this luncheon, and this month on December 14th for their luncheon is the incomparable, the amazing Sean Doyle. And it is highly, highly suggested that for you to come to the luncheon program, you should make reservations today or next Sunday. So please go visit the Women's Society table and make reservations for the incomparable musical stylings and carol sing-along with Sean Doyle on December 14th. I also want to take a moment and recognize, too, that the memorial service for our dear best beloved Mary Shapansky will be on Sunday, 12/17 at 2 p.m. Bring cookies. I'm sure that Mary would appreciate cookies. Oh, there's this other thing that's happening today. There are so many things that are happening today after service. There's a Sufism class, there's a new member class, and there is a special congregational meeting today to change portions of the bylaws. And that is happening at 12 o'clock. So we hope that enough of you stay so that we have a quorum so that we can change the bylaws on a couple of little things and nuances. And now all that information is in your announcements. But I would like to ask Peter Sloan to come on up. Peter has a really important announcement, and he is coming.
Thanks, Julie. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me all right out there? Okay. I'm actually the chairman of the Bulletin Board Committee, and we have a new bulletin board for December. The bulletin board in the parish hall has to do with the theme of mystery, and that's what our monthly theme is. Now, it's actually an interactive bulletin board that you don't have to draw anything on, so you'll be happy about that. This bulletin board is a game, and the game can be played by adults and the kids. So any children, you can play this game too. It's easy. All you have to do is solve the mystery of how many flaming chalices are hanging in this parish hall. And I put up the bulletin board last week, and I also hung a lot of flaming chalices. It might be hard to see. But anyway, I know they're very small, but I didn't want to make it easy on you. So all you have to do is go in, look around the parish hall, count the number of flaming chalices, write the number on a Christmas tree ornament that's on the table by the bulletin board, and tack it to the tree. Now, I will tell you, there's more than 2, and there's less than 100. Good luck, that's all.
That sounds like fun, Peter. All right, so there are plenty of announcements in your order of service, your weekly e-blast. You can get connected in all kinds of ways, but let's get down to the real business that you came here for to attend on this Sunday, and that is to start talking to each other. So let's take a brief moment and greet our neighbors and say hello to somebody you may not have seen in a while.
I got to meet your daughter.
Oh, you haven't met her yet?
Introduce yourself to me. It's very sweet. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. It's good to see you. It's good to be together again. This morning's opening words, I'm Reverend Cathy Harrington, by the way, and I'm the interim minister of this congregation. So I chose opening words from two different people, Victoria Safford and John Taylor. We begin with Victoria. Maybe there are limits. Maybe we don't need to touch everything, to tamper with everything just because we can. Maybe we don't need to change everything, know everything, own and master every living and inanimate thing, split every single atom. Maybe sometimes it's best to just let the mystery be. We are here to garner not only knowledge, but wisdom and reverence and our rightful place. And sometimes you can only see those things in the dark. John Taylor writes, if there were no Advent, we would need to invent it. We human creatures, in spite of all that has happened to us and been done by us, are still hopeful. Something new and something vital, something promising is always coming, and we are always expecting. Thus, in Advent, candles are lighted to mark the time of appreciation and preparation, and with each new light, our anticipation grows. As it should. We are, after all, a hopeful people, and that hopefulness deserves a festival. For Advent is a time of anticipation, and as long as we expect, and as long as we hope, someone will light a candle. Okay.
Please rise as you are willing and able, and join with me on reciting the chalice lighting as written in your order of service. we gather in loving community, creating a shared vision of compassion and dignity for all to radically transform the world in which we live. Now let's sing. Let's sing hymn number 225, O Come, Emmanuel.
For the story. Come see the story. Story time. Sorry. Everybody, in the corner, sir. Wow, look at you. On the floor with me, but I might not get back up. Okay. The story I chose this morning is called Interrupting Chicken. You have heard, you know this story? Oh my goodness. Anybody else know the story? Okay, all right, well, here we go. We'll see it soon. Ruh-roh. No? It worked earlier. It's coming. Oh, good, because it's so fun. Okay, so this book is by David Ezra Stein, and it's called Interrupting Chicken. And little chicken is notorious, obviously, for interrupting the stories. So her dad says, please do not interrupt, right? Okay, we ready? Okay. Okay. All right. It was bedtime for little red chicken. Okay, my little chicken, said Papa, are you ready to go to sleep? Yes, Papa, but you forgot something. What's that? A bedtime story. All right, I'll read one of your favorites. And of course, you're not going to interrupt the story tonight, are you? Oh no, Papa, I'll be good. Oh, the first story is Hansel and Gretel. You guys know how this ends? You know how Hansel, okay. Okay, good. So Hansel and Gretel were very hungry, and deep in the woods they found a house made of candy. Nibble, nibble, nibble. They began to eat the house until an old woman who lived there came out and said, oh, what lovely children. Why don't you come inside? Just about when they were going to follow her inside, out jumped a little red chicken, and she said, don't go in, she's a witch. So Hansel and Gretel didn't. The end. Chicken, you interrupted the story. Try not to get so involved. I'm sorry, Papa, but she really was a witch. Well, you're supposed to be relaxing so you can fall asleep. Let's try another story. I'll be good. Little Red Riding Hood. Oh, okay. Take this basket of goodies to Grandma, said Little Red Riding Hood's mother. But don't stray from the path. The woods are full of danger. So Red Riding Hood skipped along through the deep woods, and by, she met a wolf who wished her good morning. She was about to answer him when out jumped a little red chicken, and she said, don't talk to strangers. And so Little Red Riding Hood didn't. The end. Chickens. Yes, Papa? You did it again. You interrupted 2 stories and you're not even sleepy. I know, Papa, I'm sorry, but he was a mean old wolf. Yes, now get back in bed. Okay, Papa, let's try one more little story and I'll be good. Chicken Little. Chicken Little was hit on the head by an acorn. The sky is falling, she thought. She was about to run off and warn Goosey, Lucy, Ducky, Lucky, Henny, Penny, and everyone on the farm that the sky is falling when out jumped a little red chicken and said, don't panic, it was just an acorn. So Chicken Little didn't. The end. Chicken. Yes, Papa, you did it again. Oh, Papa, I couldn't let that little chicken get all upset over an acorn. Please read one more story and I promise I'll fall asleep. But Chicken, we are all out of stories. Oh no, Papa, I can't go to sleep without a story. Then, said Papa, yawning, why don't you tell me a story? Me? Tell a story? Said the little red chicken. Okay, Papa, okay, well, here we go. Bedtime for Papa by Chicken. Once there was a little red chicken who put her papa to bed. She read him 100 stories. She even gave him warm milk, but nothing worked. He stayed wide awake all... What do you guys know what that means? That Z? Oh, is it snoring? Can you snore for me? Very good. Okay. Okay, what's going on with Papa? Oh, more of that same snoring. Okay. That was good. All right. Papa? Papa's out like a light, isn't he? Good night, Papa. And she crawls in bed with Papa, and that's the end. So, I thought, this would be a great story to teach children about not interrupting, but then I thought, wait a minute. Little chicken has a kind heart, doesn't she? She's compassionate. She's a little social justice chicken. What was your favorite? She is. What was your favorite part of the story? Oh, he interrupted. You're very good. That's a good point. Dad fell asleep and interrupted little chicken's story. So she got to feel what it feels like. I think you were next, and then you. And oh my goodness.
My favorite part of the story was when the chicken interrupted
You liked it. You liked it when chicken interrupted. And you're next. Yeah, Little Red Riding Hood. Yeah, that bad wolf. Yeah, and then you. Oh, the Hansel and Gretel, because that awful witch was ugly. Yeah. Oh, and you're next. Well, that was sweet, wasn't it? So Chicken snuggled up and fell asleep with her papa. Well, thank you for being such good listeners, and I'm going to sing you into your classes, and I'll see you next week. I have a scary story for you about goblins.
Each week, we give away a good portion of our weekly offering, monthly offering, to a social justice cause outside this church, our church walls. And this month, our group that we are sponsoring is Family Promise. Now, I'm sure that most of you already know a good deal about Family Promise being a unique homeless shelter for families that include men and teenage boys to keep families together. But let's welcome Luann Firestone from Family Promise to give us a little more information about this wonderful organization. Thanks, Luann.
Good morning, everybody. I'm very happy to be here to celebrate with you today. I love Advent. I'm excited. I come here, I think, once a year to talk to you, and so it's just a pleasure to join you again. My name is Lou Firestone. I run Family Promise. We have such a long history with your church, which I am so grateful for. It goes back years and years and years from when we used to rotate families into churches to sleep, and some of you remember welcoming families here in your basement of your church to house them overnight. We have since gone away from that model, and we have a permanent shelter site now at the parish school at St. Columba Bridget over on the east side. It's a lovely building. If you have never come to our shelter, I want to welcome you to come tour. But really quickly, if you don't know who we are one of 2 family shelters in Erie County. We take kids mainly. Over 70% of our guests are children, and that is super important. I don't know if you've been reading the news lately, but family homelessness is spiking the most out of any homelessness right now. Erie County says on any given night right now, there's over 100 families that are homeless, and there's only about 25 spots in shelters between our shelter and the other family shelters. So that means a lot of families are lingering for months, even close to years, in hotels waiting for a spot to open in a shelter. And the motels are far away. They're in like Hamburg, Niagara Falls Boulevard, Clarence, really outside of the city, not close to schools. So it's really important, the work we do. We want to work quickly with our families. Your support from our community allows us to do that. We can differentiate care really, really well in a small scale model that we run. We only serve 6 families at a time, and we're able to provide all different kinds of care. Just last week, we were able to get someone into a training program to get a better job that they need and get her a computer. We were able to help someone with a bus pass and childcare, bridging childcare to help a mom start working. And we were even able to put a family on a bus to go out of state because she was fleeing from domestic violence, and that was the safest option. So we do lots of different things, and your support allows us to differentiate what we do and able to get the best outcome for families that we serve. But I'm super grateful. I just want to express my gratitude, and I'm honored to be worshiping with you today. Thank you for your support.
Thanks, Luann. So how do you give? Well, you can write a check and write UUCB on the appointment line, drop it in the collection plate, or send it in by mail. You can throw some cash into the donation plate, but I want to remind that sustained giving is the best way to give. So sign up for auto giving on our website, UUCB, and let's give generously so we can all be home for the holidays. Thank you.
Christmas gifts gaily wrapped, all shapes and sizes, hiding their surprises in their bright cloaks. Christmas gifts, messengers, each a reflection of the deep affection Christmas evokes. Some are costly, some are grand, some have traveled far. Some were patiently wrought by hand or bought with pennies from a jar. Christmas gifts, large and small, gilding December, helping us remember, bidding us recall the gift of life and the gift of love, the greatest gifts of all. The gift of life and the gift of love, the greatest gifts of all.
Today's reading is A Blessing for Traveling in the Dark by Jan Richardson. Go slow if you can, slower, more slowly still, friendly, dark, or fearsome. This is no place for you to break your neck by rushing, by running, by crashing into what you cannot see. Then again, it is true. Different darks have different tasks. And if you have arrived here unawares, if you have come in peril or in pain, this might be no place you should dawdle. I do not know what these shadows ask of you, what they might hold that means you good or ill. It is not for me to reckon whether you should linger or you should leave. But this is what I can ask for you, that in the darkness there be a blessing, that in the shadows there be a welcome, that in the night you be encompassed by the love that knows your name.
This is the first week of Advent. Many years ago, thousands of years ago, people in the Northern Hemisphere were thought to have gathered wreaths of evergreen and lit fires as signs of hope in the coming spring and the renewed light. The custom was kept alive by Christians, and by the 16th century, the Advent wreath had spread across many parts of the world. Today, Advent is a period of 4 Sundays leading up to the Christmas holiday, and also the time in the Northern Hemisphere when the days are the shortest, when cold settles in and people need cheer, brought to them by the promise of light and warmth. So we light one candle each Sunday, symbolizing our waiting experience. And week by week, the candles remind us that fear and hopelessness recede as more warmth enters the world. The flame of each new candle reminds us that more is yet to come. So on this first Sunday of Advent, we light the candle of hope with the words of Marcina Weirdrich, a Benedictine monastic. I was just thinking one morning during prayer how much alike hope and baking powder are. Quietly getting what is best in me to rise, awakening the hint of eternity within. May this candle awaken the best in us and connect us to the eternal and give life to our hope. And so we will light the first purple candle. It's a battery. So I offer this prayer by the Reverend Dr. Davidson Lohr, who was my mentor for many years, and I love this. Let us try again to believe in miracles. Not the flashy kind of miracle, but the warm and poignant kind. Let us try again to see others through the eyes of love, that they may learn to see us that way too. Let us believe that little green shoots of life can grow up through even our hardest crusts. And let us believe again that trust and hope are still the only soil in which life can grow for us and for those in the world. Some holy days are coming. If we can let them be born within and among us. Something sacred wants to be born, and it needs a manger. Let us become that manger. Let us believe again that holy things can still happen, and that we can still find our hearts miraculously opened and our eyes opened with them, here, now, and among us. Let us try again to believe in miracles. Amen. We especially hold in our hearts today Sean Doyle. His sweet mother, Grace, has entered hospice care at home. She is comfortable, safe, and with her sweetie, Sean's dad. We hold them in our hearts. And now let us fill our sacred space with names of loved ones we hold close in our hearts this morning, some suffering in sorrow and some celebrating in joy. The breath of nature is upon us. The spirit of life is within us. And the community of love surrounds us. So be it, blessed be, and let the church say, Amen.
So
One of my favorite places to walk my dog in Asheville, North Carolina was around a small little lake called Lake Louise. We loved walking in all the seasons, fall, winter, spring, and summer, because the changes were fascinating to witness. The spring brought Canada geese on their way north, and then they came back. When winter was showing up, in fall they'd be heading back south, and baby ducks. And in spring there was the return of the turtles. Every day we counted turtles. It was my favorite thing to do. Sometimes there'd be 40 or 50 of them sunning on the rocks, on the banks, on logs. Winter was kind of fun because on the lake would partially freeze and the ducks liked to walk out on the ice and take a nap, even though the whole lake wasn't frozen. They liked that for some reason. But I always wondered what happened to the turtles in the winter. I kept meaning to ask my son, who majored in biology at Clemson, and I never did. I missed them. So I recently discovered a book for Advent by Gail Boss called All Creation Waits, an Advent mystery of new beginnings. She begins with an epitaph by Meister Eckhart, a German Catholic theologian, a philosopher and a mystic who had been charged with heresy by the Catholic Church, which is probably why he's so relatable to us. He wrote, "Every single creature is full of God and is a book about God. Every creature is a word of God. If I spent enough time with the tiniest creature, even a caterpillar, I would never have to prepare a sermon. So full of God is creation." She writes, long, long ago, before there were written words, there were animals and all the rest of the teeming natural world. Creation is the earliest sacred text given to us, opening up an infinite universe of meaning. The first mystery that she explains in her book just happened to be turtles, painted turtle. Some of you probably know where turtles go in the winter, but it still feels like a miracle to me. So one day in the fall, she writes, as the water and the air cool, at some precise temperature, an ancient bell sounds in the turtle's brain. A signal, take a deep breath, and each creature slips off her long and swims down for the warmer muck in the bottom. Stroking her way through the woven walls of plant stems and mud and muck, she finds her bottom place. She closes her eyes and digs into the mud and buries herself. And then she pulls into her shell, encased in the darkness, and settles into a deep stillness. Her body temperature drops and stops just short of everything in her that has gone so still that she doesn't even need to breathe. The iced-over pond soon becomes empty of oxygen, and sunk into the bottom mud for 6 months, she will not draw air into her lungs. To survive the cold that would kill her or slow her so that predators would kill her, she slows herself beyond breath in a place where breath is not possible, and she waits. It is her one work, and it is not easy. She is dissolving. Every stressed particle of her stays focused on the silver bead of utter quietude. It is in this radical simplicity that will save her. And deep within it is, at the heart of it, is her stillness, something that she has to name, no need to name, but something we might call trust, that one day, yes, the world will warm again, and with it her life. I learned that process that she goes through creates acidic toxins in her body, but they are neutralized by the dissolving calcium in their shells. It's like a built-in antacid. And so her shell is dissolving, which is helping her survive. Wow. I don't know. I thought that was really cool. So the beginning, you remember Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel. What a theologian, a scholar. He wrote, "The beginning of all happiness lies in the understanding that life without wonder is not worth living. What we lack is not a will to believe, but a will to wonder." So that's what I'm asking you this morning, is to think about how you can open up to wonder again. I was on my internship with Dr. Davidson Lohr in Austin, Texas, and we were up for 3 different Christmas services. The church had 3 services, 2 in the morning and 1 in the evening. It was 2 days before Christmas, and I had lost my will to wonder. It felt like a burden, and I couldn't even muster an inspiration for a sermon. So I went to talk to Davidson, and I told him it was hopeless, that I hated Christmas, and he said, "Why?" And I said, "Well, I think I truly started to despise Christmas when I worked at the mall. I was a hairdresser at Regis Hairstylist. I was the manager, and I saw the crass consumerism, the commercialism, and it was just luring people to run up credit card debt. And it just magnifies the inequities of our society, doesn't it? Wouldn't we be better off if we just abandoned the whole mess? Or maybe it was the job of trying to make Christmas special for my children year after year after year with a ballet dancer in the family. I saw the Nutcracker so many times that I could actually be the Sugar Plum Fairy. Or maybe it was, and then I was surprised suddenly by the knot in my throat. And I said, maybe I lost the Christmas spirit the year my dad had a massive stroke and almost died. We spent Christmas in intensive care, wondering if we were going to lose him. And in a way, I did lose my dad that year. He couldn't speak or swallow for over a year, and he was my confidant, my hero, and I missed him so much. Yeah, I think that's why I hate Christmas. It'll never be the same. But he wouldn't let me stop there. He said, "Well, tell me, what was Christmas like for you when you were a little girl?" Oh my goodness, that was so long ago. So many memories. And as I started to reminisce, Davidson was very quiet as he listened. I loved Christmas. When I was a little girl, my mother decorated the whole house, and there was a little Christmas tree in the kitchen with little candy cane cookies hanging on it. I remember the warm, crackling fire and the twinkle of lights and ornaments. And my father and my grandfather were wonderful storytellers, and sometimes our holiday meals would last for hours as they would hold us spellbound. And I had a collection of ornaments that would make Martha Stewart's heart skip a beat, and was stringing popcorn much long before she made it fashionable. And I have to say that our Christmas trees were a work of art. I used to put the tree up the day after Thanksgiving, and then would dread taking it down because it was so much work and it was so beautiful. So one year I left it up till February. And it was in kind of a cool part of the house, and it had actually rooted. I swear, it rooted. In South Carolina, a Fraser fir rooted. So, but I noticed, I thought I'd keep it up, till the next year, but my kids stopped bringing their friends home from school, so I took it down. So we had never had Christmases like the Folger coffee commercials, the perfect family, the perfect Christmas. My husband and I had a Christmas tree fight every year because I would pick out the biggest Fraser fir on the lot and bring it home, and it wouldn't fit in the house. And he would just crank up his chainsaw, which I think he really enjoyed. And then he would start massacring the tree, and I'd be screaming, but the tree survived and looked beautiful, and so did I. But I got to one of my favorite memories of childhood, and that was my grandparents, Wilbur Riley and Olga Lucille McCullough. would drive down every Christmas from Indianapolis to spend it with us. I still remember looking out the window and watching for that big boxy green Dodge to drive up in the driveway. My granddad never owned anything but big green boxy Dodge cars. And after we hugged, he would open the big trunk and he would carry in these gorgeously wrapped presents to put under the tree, and we would run and shake them and find our name on them. And then I paused for a moment and I smiled as I savored a lovely thought that was returning, and it must have been amusing to Davidson because now I was practically bursting with joy. What a transformation from the Grinch who had walked into his office in despair. Oh, Davidson, you know, my grandparents did the funniest thing. They always gave each other the same presents every year. We would watch in anticipation and almost hold our breaths as they would act out this little play they did every year. Grammy would open the little familiar package, and with feigned surprise, she would say, "Oh, Wilbur, Chanel number 5, how did you know?" And then Granddad would show the same funny surprise and delight over his favorite pipe tobacco and a jar of pickled pig's feet. Who would want a jar of pickled pig's feet for Christmas? So at this point, Davidson, who'd been listening intently to my every word, silently got up and handed me a small book of anecdotes by theologian Joseph Sittler, who taught at the University of Chicago Divinity School. It was called Grace Notes and Other Fragments. He sent me on my way without another word. Well, I thought, okay, I looked in the table of contents, Christmas. I figured there'd be a story that would inspire me about Christmas. But that wasn't what I found. I found a story about marriage. It was a story that Flannery O'Connor wrote about an old couple who lived in their entire lives in a little cabin overlooking the opposite mountain. Sittler explains this in his book. They were sitting there, both very old people in their rocking chairs on a spring day. And the old man said, "Well, Sarah, I see there's still some snow up there on the mountain." Now, he knew there was snow. Every year there's snow. So why did he have to say it? Sittler says, because to perceive that, to know that at times there is snow and at times there is not snow, was a part of the observation of an eternal rhythm which made their life together. That was it. I finally got it. There was something about that magical interlude every Christmas, performed with Chanel number 5 and pickled pig's feet, that was transcendent. Suddenly, what I had always remembered as sort of ho-hum and kind of funny and strange was breathtaking beyond words. It was breathtaking to watch my grandparents sharing this subtle rhythm of their lives together. Chanel number 5 and pickled pig's feet. How can that possibly be magical? But it is, and it was, and it still remains a sacred memory to refresh my life. And looking back on it, I see that these holiday memories were some of what the title of the book, the Grace Notes of life that Sittler wrote about. He said, grace notes are like those musical notes, those little musical notes whose only purpose is to freshen a phrase, to give new vitality to something well known. So I ask you, what are the grace notes in your life? I hope that this holiday season that you will look for them and savor them. They are waiting for you to pause out of the chaos of the holiday season in the spirit of Advent, the quietude, the solitude that you can call them forth. The grace notes of life remind us of life's sacredness and the power of love. If we don't quiet the chaos, we might miss them. This is the importance of Advent. This is the importance of recognizing that the darkness is not our enemy, it is our friend. Be faithful in your intention this season of darkness to rest and cultivate your inner sanctum, where your spirit abides and where the grace notes await resurrection. Classical guitarist Celedonio Romero believes that musical notes, once they've been played, never stop resounding. They resound in the universe for all eternity. And the Planck telescope can actually see the sound echoes of the early universe and have been translated into audible frequencies. Scientists can hear the sounds from the Big Bang. So I think this is the way it is with grace notes. They never go away. They're always resonating around us and in the universe. And so this is the magic of the holiday season. And this is what I wish for you. I wish you the spirit of this season, both past and present, to sound grace notes and to resonate in your soul. May it be so. Thank you. Please rise in body or spirit and join me in singing People Look East.
Please join me in reciting the words to extinguish our chalice as written in your order of service. As we extinguish the flame of this chalice, may we carry its light with us into the world in the power of peace, faith, justice, and love.
We leave this gathered community, but we don't leave our connection, our concerns, or our care for one another, our service to each other and to the world and to our faith. It all continues until we are together again, friends. Be strong, be well, be true, and be loving. And remember that you are blessed. You are a blessing, and above all, remember that you are not alone. You are never alone. So be it. Blessed be. And let the church say, Amen. I think Nate's making pizza. But if you brought things to put on the mitten tree, apparently I forgot to invite you to come put them on. So please bring them up now as on your way out. And thank you for coming and join us for fellowship.